It has nothing to do with race. John Paul Jones first hauled it up. It had been a flag used in the militia early on. It's just as a rattlesnake saying, "Don't tread on me." The original one is a rattlesnake across the flag. And they just, the Obama people said it was racist and evil, and they said you couldn't have it. And finally, the head of the Navy came out and said, no, you can have the flag. It's a Navy flag. But that just shows how the globalists are out to get this country. They're out to demonize every symbol we've got because they want to fully capture this nation and use it to exploit it against the world. And the United States is falling to world government. It's been a long coup, long-term program to fully get the country under their control. They're very close. If Hillary gets in, 4 to 5 more Supreme Court justices. And they know people are waking up, folks. They want to get this job done now. They'll ship $400 million illegally to Iran. They'll make deals where Iran can have atomic weapons, basically. They will do all sorts of scams. They will engage in all sorts of corruption. And they won't try to steal an election while they are stealing it. The good news is Trump is ignoring most of his advisors and listening to other people that second what he already knows. And people say, oh, Trump used to be nice to Democrats. He lived in New York. Doesn't matter. I'm not a Republican either. I'm a patriot. He is a populist. And now everything's clear to me. Trump is either George Washington Part 2 or he's the devil. Because if he ends up getting into office and betraying us, globalists don't act like he does. Globalists don't reach out to liberty movement. Globalists don't say the things he said because it puts the ideas out there that can't be put back in a box. We've got O'Brien and Marilyn and Chris and Brad and Bobby and Robin and Dylan and Kevin and a bunch of others coming in. Kevin says he has an idea how to beat Hillary, and Dylan wants to talk about how Trump can get through to millennials. Well, millennials have to decide they don't know it all. I mean, if they really think Hillary cares about them, just let them have her. That's what gets rid of millennials, slap them upside their snot-nosed heads. A lot of millennials are either super awake. I don't need to slap them upside their head. But the ones that are trendies, they got daddy and mommy issues. So just let them just enjoy themselves. They want to worship that old war criminal Hillary. Let them do it. Doesn't matter. They're going to try to rig the election. We've already got the election. Question is now, will they be able to steal it? I need to get through to those snot noses. I found not kissing people's ass is the way to get them to wake up. I mean, you can lead a horse to water. You can't make them drink. We got Chris in Georgia, Trump voter fraud, civil emergency after the election. Yeah, they really got a lot of preparations for that. I'm not saying that's coming, but they're definitely activating their red brigades, their cop killer groups, and all the rest of it. And if I get one more email going, oh, yeah, you worship the police. I've never supported police state or bad cops. I don't support civil war funded by George Soros and shooting anybody in the back who's innocent. And we've got, again, O'Brien and Maryland, Trump and election fraud. Let's talk to Chris first in Georgia. Thanks for holding, Chris. You're on the air.
Yes, hello, Alice. How are you?
Good, brother. Go ahead.
Yes, what I was saying about the voter fraud is Obama knows is that we're aware of it, and he is aware that the people know about civil emergency. So my question to you is, what do they have now? They don't have many weapons to deploy.
Well, look, our military has been trained the last 7, 8 years to go after gun owners, veterans, patriots. We first got the secret documents. No one believed it for a week. Ron Paul called me and said, is that really real? And I said, you've known me like 15 years. You think it's real? I said, the FBI is actually trying to interview me over how I got it. And, of course, it came out later. They said, okay, those documents are real. And then now that's a household known fact. Again, other media got the documents. No one had the will to put it out. I mean, I feel pretty insecure with the fact that I'm like up there at the top when it comes to huevos and other people aren't. That actually scares me. But the good news is trying to train the military to attack the American people has actually woken the military up. But, I mean, there are troops here for civil unrest. Are you saying there aren't?
No, not that, Alice. What I'm saying is there are troops, but what I'm saying is the people are more powerful than the military. We have more guns than the government. That's what I'm trying to say is, so he knows it's going to backfire.
No, I hear you. I appreciate your call. Listen, it's not about who has the most guns. It's who has right on their side and who has the will to to fight and to not listen to propaganda and to sustain the mission. So, yes, we have more guns than the military. And yes, if we fought back against a military takeover, long term, we'd win. But we don't need to, because on average, no one is more awake than the military. That's why they tried to purge the leadership. So I'm glad you brought that up. It was really a very, very deep question. Obama's going to count on the military to do this. They're going to stage, watch for it, false flags against the military with a narrative that makes the liberty movement look bad. Thus, then turning the public who supports the military against the liberty movement. See, in military, you don't just have two mass forces that go together. You look at the angles of that. And I could teach a 50-year course on this, so I'm not going to try to answer it here today. But we are winning in the info war. We don't want to get physical offensively. And we will only help the globalists chewing up the military in a civil war. Or the police, for that matter. Look who's pushing for a physical confrontation is George Soros and Obama, because that's one of the only hopes they've got. Let's go ahead and talk to O'Brien in Maryland. You're on the air.
Yes, hi. I think that basically Obama knows that basically everybody else is basically waking up to what they're doing, and basically they're gonna try and do something about it before the election happens. Pre something, I can't remember the word, but
civil emergency?
Yeah, that.
Well, I mean, all their preparations point towards that. Now they may back off of it, but they've been trying to start a civil war. They've been trying to start movements to burn down local cities so the feds can come in as angels with an already set up UN force called Strong Cities as the good cop. The good news is the police and military have been eating up what I say like it's mother's milk, not because they are stupid and just love me, but because they already match everything I say with what they've got. They take it next level with their inside info and then feed us back the information, and it's just an incredible human loop here where, I mean, if Obama and Soros want to make this move, I'm your huckleberry, baby. I appreciate your call. And that doesn't mean myself physically will do great during the first wave of this. I'm not worried about it. If I was the globalist, I'd really be backing off right now. Let's go ahead and take another call here. Let's talk to Kevin in West Virginia. Kevin, you're on the air. Go ahead.
Hey, Alex, how are you doing today?
Good, brother. Go ahead.
Here's my thought. We all vote absentee, and we all we take a photocopy of our absentee ballot, mail it in, so that way they can't rig it at the machines, and we all have a copy of who we voted for when we vote absentee. And then if they try to...
I agree. It's moral authority. That's a great idea, but they can still absentee early on. But here, let me tell you what you need to do. This is my view. Everyone should start their own YouTube channel now. Don't wait till the week of, 3 months from now, 90 days from now. Start now. Go out with a camera 50 feet away or whatever the law is in your state. Do exit polls there to show what the real number was at precincts. And then when they steal that precinct, just a few of those stories will blow up in their face and give us the moral authority for a recount, a Supreme Court thing. Of course, the Supreme Court would have gone for Trump, but now Scalia died, so now it's split. Stay there. I'm going to come back to you with a response back to that, then Roger Stone and more. Stay with us.
If you can't see the irony in having a gun ban enforced by men with guns, well, then you fail to understand why the Second Amendment was written in the first place.
Throughout history, only slaves are disarmed.
A well-regulated militia being necessary to the security of a free state.
The right of the people. The right of the people.
The right of the people
to keep and bear arms shall not be infringed.
For all of you actors out there who go to your red carpet events surrounded by full battle rattle SWAT teams while you accept your awards for your latest violent movie. For all you politicians who spend your 9 to 5 days scheming up ways to take away my Second Amendment rights, meanwhile you have first responders on site there to protect you, I say this: come and take it.
I have a strict gun control policy. If there's a gun around, I want to control it. Clint Eastwood.
Go ahead. Make my day.
Dads demand guns because it's me that's got to get up and go check out that noise at 2 a.m.
Infowars.com.
He's with us for the balance of the hour via phone, picking his wife up from the airport. on this live Sunday evening transmission. Roger Stone, former Trump campaign head, the guy that for decades has been urging Trump to run, longtime confidant, lobbyist, and friend for Trump. His former business partner, current business partner, obviously is the head of the campaign. And it's an amazing time to be alive to see Trump come out against election fraud and to come out and point out that it's going on. And to see Reuters caught sampling 15% more Democrats than Republicans in their own methodology. I'm going to show that to TV viewers here in a minute, the graph from their own website. And then to say Hillary's 15 points ahead. Incredible. But now with that same methodology with a new Reuters poll, she's only 3 points ahead. I'm telling you, I can't find anybody that supports Hillary. I can't find her. I can't find them. Even in California, we did exit polls with Hillary supporters. 2 out of 10, they were all for Sanders, 80%. So it's an epic time to be alive, ladies and gentlemen. Shock poll, Reuters radically changes methodology to favor Clinton. Here's another one. Pat Caddell blasts Reuters back-rigging polls to show Clinton up. And then we've got a shot of the poll methodology they're using. 650 Democrats to 496 Republicans. And then they've been caught saying the independents, 196. Most of those are Democrats. So it's even above 15 points. I mean, this is desperate. And then Obama comes out Thursday as he is ready to leave and play golf for his 300th rounds he's been in 7.5 years at Martha's Vineyard. And he says, don't worry. Look, no such thing as election fraud. What is that? Doesn't exist. It's like Hillary in the Senate Armed Services Committee when they said, what about the Turkish ambassador in Benghazi? She goes, turkeys? What are turkeys? Thinking you don't know there's a country called Turkey. You're just betting you're an idiot. And then it's not just Reuters. It's AP, you name it, doing the same methodologies. And then we went and dug it up. Kennedy's killed. They set up this AP election bureau. Then by 1990, they call it Voter News Services, and it gets caught in every election in stealing it. And now it's called National Election Pool until this year. Now it's got a new name, Edison Research. And that's the same group that met the night before Sanders had the nomination taken from him and said, oh, doesn't matter if he wins the California election, we're going to give it to Hillary. And we have a superdelegate on video bragging, doesn't matter if he wins the popular vote, we're going to give it away. We have them jumping the shark, in my view, nakedly stealing elections, nakedly trying to just hide it in plain view. Now, I want to get into all the other big issues, where he really is, where he sees Trump going, the latest dirty tricks, what's going on, what's going to happen next. When are we going to see the WikiLeaks emails that supposedly Julian Assange says will have her indicted? I mean, she looks like, again, a dead person up there, a corpse-sickle, when she gives speeches. This is ridiculous. Roger Stone, thank you for joining us.
Alex, delighted to be with you.
Well, as you hurtle down the highway via cell phone, you just heard my 3-4 minute intro. I like you because I saw you in a quote in the 90s in some article. You said, listen, I only give out accurate leak info because the first time you give out disinfo, you'll never be picked up by the press again. Everything you've told me turned out to be 100%, I mean, just dead on. Unlike other pundits. I mean, that's why I love you. That's why they say you're dishonest and a dirty trickster, because it's the opposite. The real synopsis, you heard what I just said. Is that wrong?
No, I think it's essentially correct. I mean, it's just like when I had dinner with Nigel Farage during the Republican National Convention, he told me that the manipulation of the polls in Britain to make Brexit look less popular, less viable, was manifest, and they were doing it constantly, and that it was a tactic that we needed to be prepared for here. And then, lo and behold, we've seen this trend. And it's not just Pat Caddell at Fox, but it's Cliff Zukin with the Rutgers Institute, hardly a conservative. A number of these liberal academics have pointed out the oversampling of Democrats in these polls.
And just to quantify what you said for laymen out there, some polls 2 years ago when Brexit started were 75% wanted out of the unelected EU. England never voted to be part of it. And by the time it happened, they only won by a few percentage points, creating that illusion that everybody's voting to stay to make people feel like they're wrong.
Yeah, this is like a mass psychology. It's just like, as you know, the term conspiracy theory and conspiracy theorist was actually invented by the Central Intelligence Agency. We have a memo dated to about 1965, which instructs the public relations people and presumably the plants that the Central Intelligence Agency had throughout the press on their payroll to utilize that exact phrase to try to discredit anyone who is questioning the results of the investigation of the Kennedy assassination. And it's hurled at us constantly. I don't believe in conspiracies. I believe in the truth. And I also don't think the government ever tells us the truth, so why should they start now?
Well, exactly. I mean, it's almost like a medal to be called that. And sure, there's some kooks that make stuff up, but a lot of real journalists are called that. It doesn't work anymore. There it is, 1967. The CIA created the label conspiracy theorist to attack anyone who challenges the truth and the narrative. You can link right through that Zero Hedge article to the declassification by Congress, as you said, from the early 1960s, right after Kennedy was killed. If you questioned all the witnesses and what they saw, you were a conspiracy theorist.
Exactly right. So it is, look, we've also seen disinformation taken to extraordinary levels this week. Let me give you several examples.
Saying Trump's dropping out, total horsemanner.
ABC, the New York Times speculating about it. And this really came out of the Republican National Committee. It really didn't come out of and then I think the Clinton people picked it up, the Clinton spin machine.
Didn't come out of Hillary's bowels. It came out of Reince Priebus's butt.
Exactly, because Priebus is a Paul Ryan guy, and he was very, very upset when Trump declined to endorse Ryan prior to the primary. Like Ronald Reagan, Donald's policy was not to get involved in primaries. He can support all these candidates for the Senate in New Hampshire, in Arizona or New Hampshire after the primary. But as of this moment, Ryan, McCain, and Ayotte are not the nominees of the Republican Party.
Well, let's talk about what you want to cover, because I always end up asking the questions. You've always got such a great background inside baseball. And by the way, Roger, when I say you're so accurate, I mean, really, it's scary how accurate you are. You said 4 or 5 months ago when the whole Chicago thing happened that they were Hillary people dressed up like Bernie. She'd sent them. That's in the emails. You said, well, I have sources. But, man, I mean, it's hundreds of things that you have literally been the first to say, like the Koch brothers are going to give money to Hillary, and they did it. I mean, the Koch brothers are giving money to the fake Texan, and they did it. I mean, you got some amazing sources.
Well, at this point, Alex, I've got to tell you, I think we're looking at a very close election. Trump is now, I think, back solidly on message. And this next week is his economic policy speech. This is the single most important speech of the campaign, heavily shaped by Larry Kudlow.
All right, StoneZone.com. You got the floor, Roger. When we come back, I'm turning the show over to you. We're talking during the break, so we don't pre-script these interviews. I was saying, what's on your radar? And he was saying, well, look at Iran, how our emails have now gotten this guy executed. Just an example of how bad she is. Plus, them sending $400 million to Iran, they lied about. Now we've got Hillary basically falling down, having to be helped upstairs. Look, I don't hype stuff, okay? I've got plenty of real stuff to cover. I'm not saying she looks like a lunatic on the campaign trail because I want to act like she's got a problem. They're saying Trump's got mental problems. They're saying he's got health problems. They're saying his wife's a prostitute, an illegal alien, all this crap. The point is Hillary looks like a dying woman, and now DrudgeReport.com, we can put it up, because he has the big double photo, the panoramic, with her basically falling down, having to be held up. This just broke. We're going to put it up on Infowars.com as well. But, I mean, what's really going on, Roger? She looks like she's in bad shape. She's got holes in her tongue. She looks like she's got, Down syndrome whenever she's out there with the balloons falling, like she's a 3-year-old with a lobotomy. What's going on with Hillary? What's the inside intel, Roger?
Yeah, New York Democrats who move in those social circles were very surprised even when she ran because her health is not good. Bill's health is also not good. But I think she has had, she's either had a small stroke or she has had some other disorder. Those strange glasses she was wearing for a while, kind of a tip-off. She seems to have no stamina whatsoever. So I think it is probable that she's got very serious health problems.
Remember in the debate when she was gone for 10 minutes?
Yeah, very strange. Very, very strange. I think this is a liability. This is typical of what happened. I mean, why Bill and Hillary can't ride off into the sunset with their stolen hundreds of millions and their fame and be happy, I don't know. They're going back to the table one time too many, and I think it's all going to catch up with them. They were able to suppress the major scandals that they have survived. Now those all get a nice, healthy review like they never happened.
But, I mean, it's not like we're cherry-picking videos. I randomly watch her. In fact, I want to do this so we get more clips to always pay attention to. She acts frickin' nuts everywhere. She, like, stomps around like she's crazed on a power trip. I mean, I mean, quite frankly, this is what you see in mental institutions.
Well, if you go to the Clintons' war on women, I spent a lot of time talking about what I think are her dual personalities. On the one hand, she poses as this friendly grandmother, with the phony smile. But then her real personality, she's a short-tempered, foul-mouthed, abusive, volcanic, angry, greedy psychopath.
By the way, you never brag about this, but I did some research this weekend because I'm a Roger Stone fan because you're just an interesting guy. And I went and read a bunch of old news articles online from you in the 70s, 80s, 90s. I didn't know. You wrote a book about Nixon. I didn't read it. I know it was a bestseller. But I didn't know you were like his confidant for like 20 years and his best buddy, and that you're the guy that helped bring him back out and get him on the news and get him to have these press meetings and stuff. I want to interview you just about Nixon sometime, but comparing Nixon to Hillary, correct me if I'm wrong, but Nixon had issues, had problems, but wasn't out to get America. But with Hillary, she really is out to get us.
Well, when it comes to criminality, Nixon would be rolling in his grave. The Clintons and the Obamas have gotten away with things that he could never have gotten away with. You may recall that abuse of the IRS was one of the counts in the impeachment against him. Also another count using the FBI to block an investigation. Well, the Clintons used the FBI to block the Travelgate investigation, and the Clintons, as you know, were pardon me. The Clintons had the IRS harass Kathleen Willey, Juanita Broaddrick.
Obama's persecuted, just whole-scale industrial. So bottom line, Nixon, was he a good guy overall, or in like one sentence, who was Nixon?
Well, he was very complicated. He was an introvert in an extrovert's business. He was very disciplined. He was very buttoned down. He was very formal. He was brilliant. He understood the geopolitical game like nobody else, both American politics and international politics. He also played the accordion, saxophone, the clarinet, the piano, and the violin.
Was Nixon out to get America? Was Nixon?
No.
Was Nixon a globalist?
Nixon was out for peace. He wanted a peaceful, prosperous America. He was not a globalist.
And that's why they got rid of him. Who is Hillary, then, boiling her down?
She's a psychopathic criminal. She is where do we get the idea that someone becomes qualified to become president of the United States because they married some hillbilly who was successful in Arkansas politics and then became president in 2 3-way races? Let me remind you, no Ross Perot, no Bill Clinton. So you can say that, well, that's brilliant, but in both cases, he won with the minority of the vote.
All right, we got 4 minutes left, and your wife's about to pull up there at the curb. You're there at the airport in Florida. Other points that haven't been made. Where do you think Trump really is? What do you make of all these polls? What do you make of all the attacks? You say Trump is reorganized. Get ready. Roger Stone, 4 minutes. Give us the intel.
I think next week's economic speech is absolutely vital, and that I know that it's a very well crafted speech. It includes Trump's proposal for a corporate tax rate, cutting the rate of corporate taxes in the United States below that of China, which would bring millions of dollars, billions of dollars business back home. Also, inversion, taking this almost $2 trillion that is off, which is offshore and not being taxed. That is a major feather in our cap. He also would do something that every president until Obama has done, and that is sweep the federal accounts. There's over $1 billion sitting in the federal accounts that is unbudgeted and unused. It just sits there. Every other president has swept it at one point. Obama was the first to never do so.
Wow.
So before you go cut Social Security or Medicare or so on, you ought to go sweep these available funds to begin with.
I love how Hillary spins it that he wants to. I saw her speech a few days ago in her press conference. He wants to give tax cuts to rich people. No, the rich people wrote it so they could move their money offshore. Trump's going to cut it so they bring the damn money back. I love how she spins that.
Yeah, Trump is certainly not the errand boy for Wall Street. Every hedge fund manager in the world is upset about the fact that he could become president because, as you know, he wants the hedge fund managers to be taxed the same as everybody else on Wall Street without the special tax treatment they have in which they make billions, but they pay almost nothing.
Sure, but also globalists set it up where they can move offshore and pay no corporate tax because it's so high here, no tax overseas. Trump cutting it incentivizes them to come back. Don't people get that?
No, I'm afraid that they don't because they don't want to give his plan an adequate hearing. I mean, it's the chicken and egg problem. The media says his ideas are simple and he's never specific, but then when he is specific, he gets very little coverage. It's a terrific plan. As I said earlier, Larry Kudlow and Steve Moore, two of the supply-side pioneers, were deeply involved in formulating the policy. Worked very closely with Donald himself. This is going to be the centerpiece of the campaign because if he does not put forward an aspirational message, then he won't be able to win.
You're right. 60 seconds left. Other news, Roger. We're going to let you go.
More and more evidence of cheating by the Clintons in the Bernie Sanders hoax, the takedown of Bernie. And the reason that's significant is, quite simply, if the Clintons will steal the election from Bernie, why wouldn't they steal it from Donald?
Is Obama not? I mean, Obama having to come out and respond to it. He doesn't like that.
No, I don't think so. I think that made me certain. When he said it's ridiculous, I immediately began to fear that that's exactly what we were going to have.
Absolutely. Roger Stone, StoneZone.com. You've designed the new Clinton rape shirt, available at InfoWarsStore.com exclusively. Thank you so much. Also, their War on Women there to give a liberal. That's available at InfoWarsStore.com. Roger, thanks for the time. We'll talk to you this week.
Thank you, Alex.
An article up at the Washington Post, wearing "Don't Tread on Me" insignia could be punishable racial harassment. The Equal Employment Opportunity Commission, also known as FAG, among its other functions, decides hostile work environment harassment claims brought against federal agencies. On January 8, 2014, a complainant filed that the agency subjected him to discrimination on the basis of race. In the fall of 2013, a co-worker repeatedly wore a cap to work with insignia of the Gadsden flag, which depicts a coiled rattlesnake in the phrase, "Don't tread on me." Complainant stated that he found the cap to be racially offensive to African Americans because the flag was designed by Christopher Gadsden, a slave trader and owner of slaves. Although a thorough review of the record, it is clear that the Gadsden flag originated in a Revolutionary War in a non-racial context. Boom! Facts! Boom! Liberals down. This has been Joe Biggs serving you some information at Infowars.com. Enjoy. Yesterday, Dakota Meyer, a U.S. Marine Corps veteran and Medal of Honor recipient, decided to open his mouth and tweet this out. If real Donald Trump wants to be commander-in-chief, he needs to act like one, and that can't start until he apologizes to the cons. And we all know that the cons are a con job. Do you support the fact that his son, Captain Khan, voluntarily joined the military and fought radical Islamic terrorism and died? The same kind of people that Mr. Khan wants to bring into this country. What do you stand for, Dakota Meyer? I do respect the things you've done, but this tweet is ridiculous. And the fact that now Hillary Clinton is using it to politicize her campaign to smear Donald Trump is completely and totally disgusting. All of the military is watching this right now. Our eyes are open. What are you going to do? Are you going to do the right thing and take that down? Or are you going to sit there and actually help out the most corrupt person ever? Hillary for prison, Joe Biggs, Infowars.com, and I'm pissed off.
Look, it'd be easy to sit on the fence, let Hillary get in, audience would explode, but I'd watch my country decline. Trump gets in, he's not going to be able to fix everything. People say, oh, look, Trump got in, world depression. World depression's already coming. But I have to bet on who I think and who I've researched is the best person. I don't play politics. I don't sit around and say, oh, the smartest thing for me to do is this. I sit around and think, what is the best, most honest thing to do? Oh, I can be more Machiavelli than anybody. But I want to try to make the world a better place, not sit there and, like, play all the corruption and the weaknesses of humanity and then direct it the way I want it to go. I'm just not a parasite. Not a hero, but not a parasite. And I'm asking other people, do you think the world's got a future, has a chance if we continue down this road? I think the answer is no. But you were making a point about ideas of how to defeat Hillary. Go ahead.
Yeah, I was thinking we all vote absentee and copy, photocopy, go to where there's a photocopier and photocopy it, and that way we have a hard copy of who we voted for.
No, I agree, but how do we communicate with each other to then match those up with each other?
I don't know. I mean, that's...
Listen, your idea is really good, but they classically stuff the ballot box at the absentee because they've got a month or two to monkey with it, depending on the state. The real answer is exit polls everywhere to show that the numbers don't match up. If you got a 3% to 5% discrepancy, you know there's a fraud. But great points. Appreciate your call. I'm not shooting you down. We got a war game every angle. The answer is a landslide, and Trump's already got a landslide. They're scared. That's why they're saying... he's dropping out. He's dying. He murdered people. He's a demon because they're scared. Brad in Pennsylvania, you're on the air. Go ahead.
Thanks, Alex. You're exactly right, and you're doing an excellent job of hitting home on what he needs to do to win. It's got to be a landslide, so they can't rig it or they can't lie, and that's what happened in the RNC because they stole it from Ron Paul 8 years in a row, in my belief. And
they do. They got that pervert Kasich running around saying Trump came to him and said, I'll make you the king. All lies. Kasich saying Ohio won't go for Trump. Everyone I talked to, everyone. I mean, it was like everyone in Ohio loved Trump. Black, white, old, young, Muslim, Christian. I mean, it was all Trump, Trump, Trump. It's crazy. I had Muslim cab drivers. I'd say, you're a Muslim. Yes, I like Trump. They were all for Trump. They hate it. They hate Hillary. The point is, he says he's going to lose Ohio. Yeah, because you're going to try to steal it, you little arrogant, narcissistic mental patient. I mean, look at Kasich. He is a literal lunatic.
They're all establishment hacks, and Hillary is floundering. You're exactly right. You pull back the curtain. It's like the Wizard of Oz. She's got nothing. She's weak. She's spineless. They've got nothing.
Listen. Leanne's out there doing days of interviews going, I can't find a Hillary. And I go, what is it, 1 out of 10? She goes, no, I can't find it. So I'm looking at hours of raw footage. I go, do a report. She's like, well, there's just hundreds. And then she finally did exit polls, and it was 8 out of 10. But no one supports her.
It's an epic time, like you always say, Alex. This is globalism, Hillary and globalism against nationalism, Americana, and Trump and patriotism. And people don't see the big picture. That's exactly what it is, and we got to stand up against it now, or we're going to lose it forever. Absolutely. Anything else, sir? I love you, man. Keep up the great work. Well, we love you. We're all in this together. It's just so good to talk to somebody that wants to fight this. So when you thank me, I'm thanking you. This is just crazy. People go, well, why aren't you for killing the cops? And I'm like, well, there's some bad cops, but I don't want to just randomly kill people. Really, you're for the establishment now. The establishment isn't the cop down the street. It's the foreign banks, people. Now, there was an organization randomly talking about going after globalists. I still would say they deserve a trial, but maybe I wouldn't be so upset. And I'm not... I'm so sick of these people. I'm so sick of them just getting away with everything. It's so obvious what dirtbags they are. They have no morals. They have no compass. No wonder they run things. Because they'll do anything. And those of us that don't want power. I don't want to go bitch at a neighbor because their dog's doing something in my yard, much less go fight some politician. But that's the problem. I'm more of a man than these people, but I don't want to exercise power over them. Well, you know what? You put too far. The sleeping giant is when real men say and real women say, game over, you want to fight? Now you're going to get one. And they go, oh, give up, be scared. It's like, oh, you don't understand, I'm not scared. I didn't fight you because I was asleep. I'm awake now. You want to go? Let's go. And we are going now, aren't we? And you can metaphysically feel me getting my hands around your little neck. Madeleine Albright, when you said 500,000 dead Iraqi kids is a good price to pay for security in the Gulf, as you took down one of the only non-radical Muslim groups so you could push for Saudi Arabia. Metaphysically. Let me tell you a story about her. We were at Bilderberg 2008,
Hillary and Obama are inside. The media is all, where's Obama, where's Obama? They disappeared. Remember that in Virginia? And we're there, and she pulls in. They go, that's Madeleine Albright. She's driving this little car, convertible Porsche. We heard she panicked from the Marines that were inside later and runs out screaming, wouldn't even speak because she saw a few protesters. That's who rules over us. A blood drinking, I mean culturally, spiritually. Oh, yeah, dead children are good. Bomb Belgrade. And meanwhile, she can't handle 50 protesters when she drives by, panicking in fear. That's who we're fighting, is this bucket of pus. Thank you, Brad. Let's talk to Bobby in California. You're on the air.
Yeah, nobody likes Hillary. Nobody's excited for her. You can't find anyone. Even the people that are voting for her over Trump say it's, or will admit that she's a phony. So I have an idea. Hillary phony is a $3 bill contest. Whoever designs the best $3 bill, and it can be passed around everywhere.
That's a great idea. We should have another one, the Lance Armstrong of politics. But Lance isn't that bad. He doesn't deserve to be compared to her, but people know who he is. She is the fraud. She is the fixer. We should have a contest for the contest, like a $1,000 prize in a week to decide the best contest that's $100,000. And it's the mega viral campaign. What do you think we should do?
I think whoever, designs the best $3 bill, or, the best ones, and people can print them out in stacks. They can hand them everywhere. Because, like I say, even the people that are voting for Hillary, they admit that she's a big phony. So just if you get that meme everywhere, and just anyone that sees a $3 bill, oh, that's Hillary, phony. And
even get them, not to try to pass them, but like just hand them out everywhere, where it's like there's $3 bills everywhere. Hillary's on it. That's a great point. We should do it. Again, I'm sitting there with a camera and a bullhorn, and they go, that's Madeleine Albright, and I watch her drive by like she showed up not knowing anyone would be there. She's like, this is our secret meeting. What? And she's like, we're ruled over by a toad creature that literally brags about killing 500,000 kids. It's just like, oh, my God, you have such courage to stand up against her. What, courage? I'm going to just lay down while this demon sucks the blood out of the country? I'm not doing it. Robin in the Virgin Islands, thanks for holding her on the air worldwide.
Thanks so much, Alex. Love you. Listen, a couple things I would love to see with the Trump campaign. I remember when it was very evident that Trump was going to be the one with the most votes, and immediately Saudi Arabia and China came out and said, oh, no, we can't have this. We can't trust him. The economy will go to, down the toilet, blah, blah, blah. And then, of course, a bunch of other people jumped on. But I would love for him to point out that on October the 1st, the Chinese yuan is coming on the market, the gold-backed renminbi. And they already have 60% of the world's economy signed up for that, with another dozen-plus countries saying, yes, they will stop using the dollar. And my concern is that they're going to use Trump, so they're going to have some of these countries come out. And
absolutely. They could put him in and then claim the global collapse happened because of him, but people aren't that stupid. Justice be done by the heavens fall. I appreciate your call. It's a great point. Thanks for calling, ma'am. Wish I could talk to you for an hour. I'll be back tomorrow, 11 a.m. to 3 p.m., Lord willing, with the big weekday show. But let's put up on screen from DrudgeReport.com. It's also on Infowars.com. Hillary Clinton basically collapsing as she goes upstairs, having to be helped in. This is happening more and more. This is indicative. This is archetypal. This is a logo. This is a symbol of the collapsing elite trying to put another corpse into power. And, trying to shove this down our throat one more time. As Roger Stone said, go into the well one more time. We only lose by not resisting and speaking out. We win by taking action. I'm going to say great job to the crew, the listeners, the sponsors, the affiliates, and the good Lord above. I'll see you back tomorrow, 11 a.m. Central, Infowars.com.
Talk show host is Alex Jones. He's a conspiracy theorist.
Radio talk show host Alex Jones.
Alex Jones.
Jones is the wildly popular conspiracy theorist.
Radio talk show host and conspiracy theorist Alex Jones.
Deeply, I think, racist.
I just got called racist by MSNBC.
I don't want that man to have a gun.
1776 will commence again if you try to take our firearms.
The Alex Jones Show. Watch the free stream live at Infowars.com/show.
Brain Force is here. Ladies and gentlemen, I've been on this the last few months. You probably noticed I've been more crazed, more focused, less brain fog, more energy, more special reports, and it's because of Brain Force.
One of the worst things with most energy products is it's not sustainable, right? You're going to crash and going to feel really bad afterwards. This has a bunch of different antioxidants and compounds and polyphenols.
Everybody's on these drugs to knock their brain out because the brain's so fried.
We kept changing this formula over and over and over again until it became sort of a grand puzzle. For example, the L-theanine inside of it, that is activated by the different compounds in the yerba mate that we put inside of it as well. This just increases the compounds you already have.
This is what you're actually designed to run on.
Exactly.
It's kind of like a car will run on one form of junkie gas, but it runs really good on what it's designed for. You will find Brain Force, Survival Shield X2, and other game-changing products at InfoWarsLife.com or call 888-253-3139.